Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please ensure to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the bell notification in the top right-hand corner to be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. All right, let's craft together. All right, guys, today we are going to be sublimating on a skinny tumbler. We've done it before, but I'm going to walk through the process today because some people are struggling and they're getting a lot of ghosting. So we're going to go through it. We're going to go through it. That's how we get to it, by going through it. All right, so we're going to be using a sub 8.5 by 11 sublimation paper. A sub. We're going to be using my Epsom Workforce 7720, and we have our skinny tumbler, and we also have shrink wrap. I think shrink wrap is crucial for sublimation on your tumblers, especially when you're using a convection oven, and that's because you want to get the paper and the paper as tight on that skinny tumbler as possible, because if you don't, then air is going to seep through between the tumbler and the paper, and it's going to call going to create what we call ghosting. So your image is going to be very faint on your tumbler and it's not salvageable. Okay, so at that point you've wasted it, and I don't want to waste this tumbler, and I'm going to show you why in the end. All right, so let's get started. All right, guys, so here we are in Microsoft PowerPoint. You know, I always use Microsoft PowerPoint when I want to exceed the size restrictions or limitations in Cricut Design Space. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm using 8.5 by 11 size A-sub sublimation paper. So I'm going to go to the menu and choose Design. And I'm going to come over to the right and select Slide Size. And I'm going to come down to Custom Slide Size. And I'm just going to put in 8.5 by 11. And we're going to keep it in the portrait position and hit OK. And we're going to ensure the fit. And then we're going to go over, we're going to right click on the slide here on the left side. We're going to come down to layout and we're going to choose blank. And that way you just get a clean slide. Now, if you were to right click and say new slide, it's going to pick up the same settings that you just set for the initial slide. Okay. So we're going to insert our photo. So we're going to go back to the menu and select insert picture, this device. And I took 2 images and I upscaled them a bit inside of Photor. So I'm going to be using those today. And let me see here where they might have went to on my computer. Okay, we're going to I don't think it was this one. Let me double check. Yep, that's one. And we're going to go in and take another picture. So we're going to have 2 on here. And let me get the right one. There we go. All right, so we're going to be putting these 2 images on the tumbler. So I'm going to downsize these and get them about the same size. All right, so these are the 2 images that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to incorporate some coffee phrases in here. So, and let me go in. Hold on one second. All right, so we're going to put our words in here. So the first one, we're going to go to Insert, Text Box. We're going to put a text box here. And we're going to say, keep calm and drink tea. Go ahead and center that. And you just go to center right up under record. You're going to come down and you have your left align, your center, your right align. So we're going to select center, and then we're going to come back up and we're going to change our font. And we're going to go with something that we can read here. I kind of like a body. All right, we're going to use Allura. I'm going to click on this B for bold, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. And we're going to pick up a color from her head wrap. So to do that, we're going to highlight our text here. We're going to come to this A with the underline, which is your coloring for your font. And we're going to select eyedropper. And we're going to grab that orange-ish color from her wrap. And then we're going to come down. We're going to right click and copy this. We're going to paste it. And then we're just going to bring it down here. And we're going to put another phrase. And on this one, we're going to say, you're terrific. Now let's go with I like big cups, and I cannot lie. I like big cups, and I cannot lie. All right, this one we're going to take the purplish color. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go up to the font color, and we're going to select eyedropper. We're going to take some of this purple here from the image. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take and we're going to print our screen. Let me make sure this is. And so I have to bring it up a little bit. Okay, so I like both of those. Now I'm going to use a little bit of shading. So I'm going to right click and select format background. And then I'm going to come over to gradient fill. And we have a couple of little gradient stops here on the right. And we're just going to play around with these to get colors from both of these images to bring it all together. Okay, so I'm going to delete one of these gradient stops. There's 4 of them on here right now. I'm going to change it to 3. So I'm just going to select one and then click on the red X. And then we'll bring that over and space them out a little bit. So that first gradient stop, I'm going to click on the color here, come down to eyedropper, and I'm just going to select again a color from my image. Okay, that's good. And there's no right or wrong here, guys. It's totally up to what you want to do. Okay, totally what you want to do. I'm just selecting what I want for mine. All right, let's go a little bit lighter. Okay. All right, so we have our colors in there now to give it a little bit of pizzazz. We're going to kind of lighten this up so that it's not just a box or, rectangle on our screen. So we're going to come up to picture format and we're going to select picture effects. And we're going to do like a little bit of a soft edge. And you can kind of play around with these. This kind of just takes the edge off of these so that they don't look so, you'll see that my image is starting to look a little bit fuzzier around the edge instead of hard like the lady down on the purple side. You don't want to go too far because it'll eat up your image, okay? So I think that's about good right there, that 10 point. Let's maybe even go 5 point. And I'm going to copy her picture because I want to incorporate that setting to this image. So what I'm going to do is click on her and then, let's see, we're going to go back to the home and we're going to select Format Painter. And then we're going to click on this image and you see how it has like a little paintbrush. It's going to apply the settings that we just applied to this image. And there we have it. So it kind of like takes that real sharp edge off of your graphic there. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to come up to our type over under format background. And you can kind of play around with these guys, to kind of get what you want so that I kind of like that one on the rectangle. But I also like path. Path is cute too, but we got to be able to see our wording. So let's go back and let's do that one. And I may end up changing this one to a little bit of a darker color just so we can see here. See, that blue doesn't work either. How about that? All right. So now I'm going to come back down and you can move these over, guys, to shift the coloring to what works best for you. I kind of like that. I may even add back in another gradient. To add in another gradient, you just click on this one. And we are going to, let's see what white will do. Let's see if that'll kind of brighten us up a little bit. All right, so I kind of like that. It kind of like gives you a little bit of a pizzazz, so to speak, with that white kind of breaking up in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to print our screen. We're going to take a snapshot of our screen and turn this into our actual image. Okay, just like that. Now that we have it copied, we're going to come down to a second slide and we're just going to click and paste, right click and select paste. And since we're doing sublimation, we want to make sure that we mirror our image. So we're going to select rotate in the menu and select flipped horizontal. Now, if you try to do it on this, it's not going to work because you can't flip the text here. So this has to be an image in order for you to flip it right. So we're going to do it like that. And now that we have that flipped, we can go ahead and size this to the size that we need it. Now I'm going to shift this around. It's going to look a little bit funky here, but just bear with me. All right, so we have our settings at 8.5 by 11, but we need to change this so that we only get, and you know what, let me turn it around for just a second because I want to make these almost equal. So I'm talking about the spacing from here to there. So I'm going to crop this and select crop, and I'm going to bring it up just a little bit so that it almost looks even with that. Okay. Alrighty, I think we're good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to size this to what we need for our tumbler. So we're going to click on your image, and then you're going to select the size and proportion, and you're going to click on size. Now you want to deselect under scale width, the lock aspect ratio, and the relative to original picture size. We're going to deselect those. And then we're going to change this to a height of 7.3 and a width of 9.6. So I'm just going to highlight it and type it in. And that's what we're going to get. And then we're going to take and turn, rotate this to the side. And that way, when it prints out, you know, it'll all be on the one sheet of paper. Otherwise, it would have been sticking out too long for your 8.5 by 11 based on that 9.6 width. Okay. So now when we print this out, we'll know exactly where to cut it, and hopefully we won't have a whole bunch of, you know, overage. Okay. So these are images that I created in Creative Fabrica Spark, and Creative Fabrica Spark will be linked in this video tutorial if you'd like to try it out. I also have a tutorial on my YouTube channel that teaches you how to use CF Spark, how to go in and edit images using the Face app or Photor, and also how you can upload your digital images to print on demand. So you can find all that information out on my site. So what I'm going to do, because one of the things that I'm a stickler about is the spacing. So I'm going to fix the spacing on this side too, because I just saw it and I should have just fixed it when I was fixing the other one, but I didn't. So I want it to look like they have the same spacing. So we're going to go back to our sizing and make sure we have our 7.3 and 9.6 for this skinny tumbler. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and rotate this again. Now you can just select rotate and tell it to flip it for you. Like that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to print this out on our A-Sub paper. And I'm going to go ahead and come up on my screen, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get ready to sublimate this image onto our skinny tumbler. All right. I've got my tray here. I'm going to go ahead and insert my A-Sub paper and get my settings appropriate, because the last time I used this, I was using 11 by 17. So I'm going to size this down to fit my 8.5 by 11. And we're going to go ahead and get this set up. All right. All right, we're going to be cooking with gas here. All right, so we got our paper in. We're going to go ahead, and because we have two images, if you're following me, you should have two images in Microsoft PowerPoint. The initial one we were designing from, and then our output one that we're getting ready to print. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on File, and you want to click on Print, and you want to make sure that your setting says Print Current Slide. Print Current Slide, and then we're going to choose I'm using the Epson Workforce 7720. So I'm going to select that one. And on my printer properties, I'm going to make sure that my quality is all the way over to quality, to the high is in of quality. And then on the more options, I'm going to deselect high speed. Now, you may not have the same options that I have if your printer is different, but if you're using the Epson Workforce 7720, then you can use the settings that I just mentioned there. And we have it on 8.5 by 11 paper. We're going to have this coming out of the main tray. And it looks like we're ready to print. So we're going to go ahead and print. We're going to make sure that we take that top off and make sure there's nothing inside of your, because sometimes they put that paper inside, so you want to make sure there's no paper in there. And we're going to get this printed out, and then we're going to cut it down to size. Now, based on these settings that I'm using, the 7.3 by 9.6, you should not have a whole lot of overage, okay? And that's what we want. We don't want a whole lot of overage, okay? Overlap. So I'm going to get my tape. I have fallen in love with this tape, guys. I love it. I used to use the little brown heat tape, but it wasn't sticking for me. I don't know if it's just old or, you know, what the problem is. But anyway, I love this. It's linked. It'll be linked. My tape, heat tape that I use will be linked in the description. I'm trying not to put my mouth on this, guys. I'm trying to get better. And maybe today, before the day is over, I will order a tape dispenser to hold this thing. I tried to do it without y'all having to see me do that, but it didn't work. All right. All right, we're gonna do this in the convection oven, and I'm going to do it at 350 for 6 minutes. After the 3-minute mark, we're going to turn it around so that it can get full heating, you know, around the complete tumbler. So 6 minutes total, 3 minutes turn, okay? The goal is to get this paper as tight around your image, to get this image as tight around your tumbler as possible. You do not want to feel any, you don't want to feel any air pockets in there. And I will tell you that you can feel the air pockets, guys. I'm going to use my, hold on one second. Let me get my other cutter. Hold on. All right, so I'm going to use my other little cutter here to cut down my image. I got to get better at this thing because I always end up being a little bit off. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to hold it down outside of camera view. But just know that's what I'm doing, is going in to cut this baby. I did pretty good. I think I got a little bit of the top, but not much. Hopefully it doesn't mess me up. You know, even the lines don't help me, guys. So don't say, oh, you can line it up and blah, blah, blah. It don't help me. All right, so I'm just cutting my image down to size. And don't worry about the fact that the colors aren't popping, because when you're doing sublimation, your colors are dull until you put that heat. Once that heat hits it, you're going to see it's going to be so vibrant and so pretty. That's what people love about sublimation. And plus, sublimation lasts a lot longer than, you know, like your fabric transfers and stuff like that. All right, so we got our image cut down. I think I got a little bit of white on there and I don't like it, so I'm going to come in. Let me make sure it's going to wrap around my tumbler first. So far, so good. Oh yeah, this is gonna be perfect. All right, so I'm gonna show you here. You're gonna pull this paper tight, 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 tight. It may not look like I'm pulling it tight, but I am really, really pulling here. And you want to get it as tight around your tumbler. You don't want to be able to feel any air between this paper and your tumbler, okay? So I'm going to unfortunately have to hold it down out of your sight for just a second so that I can continue to get it really, really tight and I don't have any air pockets, so bear with me. But you can see when I cut it down, I'm not going to end up with a whole bunch of overage, okay? So I'm going to cut this one little area right here because I don't want that white line. And I don't want to put it back on the cutter because obviously I did not do a good job. I did not do a good job right there. So I'm going to go in and fix this little white part that I had. All right, perfect. All right, so take this down. You want to make sure that you, like I said, work with it, guys, because that's how you get ghosting. You get ghosting when you have air pockets in here. So make sure you line this thing up. You got to line it up. You got to line it up. So I'm going to hold it down and I'm pulling tightly on my paper. Make sure I got it completely tight. When you say some of the comments I get, why is mine printing so light? It's not that it's printing light. You have what we call ghosting. All right. So there is one little area that it feels like I could use. I'm going to end up with just a little bit of a little white space, and I don't like that. But I'm going to work it. All right. It's going to have just a little bit of a white space for some reason. All right, guys, I'm going to have to, I don't want to have to print this again, but I also don't want to mess up this tumbler because this is a special tumbler, and I'm going to tell you in the end, so you got to stay tuned. I'm going to tell you why this is a special tumbler. It's not your average tumbler, and it costs me a nice piece of money. Let me see if I can get it by going this route. It's just one little bitty corner that is giving me a problem. But just work with it. Just take your time. Because at the end of the day, it's about getting it right. So it's like my paper keeps like going down. Let me see if that'll get it. All right. All right, guys. It's tight. There's one little spot that I don't like. One little spot. I'm going to show it to you here in just a second. Let's see if I can get it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. It's right where I cut it. I want to show you right here. Okay, you guys should be able to see it. It's going to have like right here. It's not completely meeting. It's fine all the way up, but right there it has that little edge. So I'm going to add another little I'm going to increase my width. I'm going to use the up arrow and I'm going to change it to 9.7 and hopefully that'll get it. I'd rather mess up this piece of paper than to mess up my tumbler because like I said, this is a special tumbler. So let me get another piece of paper and you guys should do the same thing. If I think when I cut it with the cutter, I hit it too short. Just a bit too short. So everything else will be the same. I just increased it from 7.3 to 7.3 9 by 6 to 7.3 9 by 7, just on the width. Okay. So I'm going to reprint this, which will only take a hot second. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to wrap. All right. Got my image reprinted here. And I am going to cut it myself this time without the cutter. So hopefully I don't end up with the same little issue that I had with the previous one. I know it was user, and so don't worry about the sizing, guys. It was totally me. I clipped it a little bit, you know, on that edge. So that's why it wasn't lining up correctly for me. But I'm just going to use my scissors to get it right. It's better to have it right and waste one little piece of paper than to mess up this tumbler. Not that this tumbler is going to anyone, but me. All right, so we're going to get this last little side right here. Perfection is what I'm going for. All right, so now still feels a little bit damp. All right, I'm going to wrap it the wrong side first, just since it still feels a little bit. Oh yeah, this is going to be perfect. Okay, so now we're going to wrap it. I don't know what in the world. We are going to wrap her now. And we are going to make sure that's perfect, that it is tight around this tumbler and there is no air able to get underneath. Okay. Like I said, guys, take your time. It's better to get it right than to get it wrong and mess up your tumbler. All right. So even though this is a straight tumbler, I think it has a little bit of a taper to it. Just a little bit. It's very, very faint. It's not really, you know, obvious. All right, there we go. All right, so tightness, tightness, and tightness is what you're looking for. Okay, there we go. All right, so you want to make sure that the bottom has full coverage around it, and you want to make sure that top has full coverage around it. Once you get that coverage, guys, really focus on pulling that paper all the way around till it like hugs. It really has to hug your tumbler, okay? It really has to hug it. So I'm going to take a piece of tape and get this little top up here. Make sure no air can seep through there. And I got a little slight overage that I'm going to cut just a bit. Okay. There we go. Da, 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 da. There we go. We're going to tape that side down and cut just a little bit of this overage off. I don't want the connection to be very obvious. Okay, so I'm going to, and you can feel it, guys. If you have some air in between this tumbler and this paper, you can feel it. It's going to feel like a little air pocket. Okay, it's going to feel like an air pocket. And when you feel it, you know that you need to keep wrapping. If you don't, you're going to have that ghosting. All right, so I don't feel any air that can escape. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tape this seam down really, really good. And I'll try to get a little bit behind the tumbler so you can't see me put that together. Okay, and take that tape. You want that tape tight. Tight, tight, tight. Pull the tape tight. Okay, just like that. We don't want no ghosting. We don't want no ghosting. All right. Just keep doing this, guys. If you feel any little pocket of air, you got to go again. You got to start over. You got to start over because I'm telling you, you don't want to mess it up. I'm going to use my nail to kind of get in that seam to make sure it's nice and tight. And then we're going to go around the top and the bottom, sealing off that top and bottom so no air can get in there. And I'm pulling my tape tight around my tumbler. Tight, tight, tight around my tumbler. I'm going to cut that. We're going to take and we're going to fold that tape down. And you can take this and put it on a flat surface. You just want to make sure that that tape is nice and tight around there and that no air can seep through. So I just take it and put it on a flat surface like that. Okay. Everybody's been asking me about this shirt. It's still alive. It's still alive, guys. I don't washed it. I don't know how many times. And I used inkjet ink when I did the DTF, not Sublimation ink. All right. So again, going around the top, pulling tightly, or not the top, but the bottom. And you're going to do the same thing. Make sure that tape is on there good. Do not want to get any ghosting. And I'm going to have to tape this bottom really good. Like I said, it's a special tumbler. And I'm serious. All right, so now that I have this taped up, I'm going to take my shrink wrap. I'm going to put another little piece around the bottom. I'm going to use some shrink wrap. I highly recommend shrink wrap, guys. If you don't have any, order you some from Amazon if you want to do this process, because it helps to even secure this paper on here even more. Okay. All right. Go down on my bottom here and make sure I got this nicely sealed off. Okay. Should not be able, like I said, you should not be able to feel any air pockets, any air pockets. Put it on a flat surface and try to seal that tape so that no air can seep in there. We're ready to go. I'm going to take our tumbler. We're going to put it inside of our shrink wrap. Now, I'm not the best at the shrink wrap process. I think y'all have learned that about me now. I'm not the best. But I do what I can. All right, you always want to leave a little bit at the opening and the bottom, because that's going to close in. And we're now going to make sure that we seal this shrink wrap around our tumbler to help us get rid of any air, okay? We want it tightly around it. You don't want to get too close. I always say that, and then what do? I get close. All right, here we go. All right, so we got it on. It looks nice and sealed. And I always put that bottom right there, but I think I'm good. All right, so we're going to put this in our convection oven, guys, at 350 for 6 minutes. At the 3-minute mark, we're going to rotate it so that it gets even heating around there. And we're going to let it cool. Once it cools off, then we're going to do the unveil together to see what we got, okay? And we're banking on no ghosting. That's the most important thing. I would rather you mess up one sheet of paper than to mess up your tumbler, okay? All right, I'll meet you at the convection oven. Our convection oven is at 350. We're going to go ahead and place it in. And again, we're going to put it in for 6 minutes. We're going to turn it around. Let me put a piece of paper on the bottom. Hold on. We're going to turn it around at the 3-minute mark. I always like to put a piece of butcher paper on the bottom. Don't have to be that big, just enough so the tumbler is sitting on it. And we're going to come back. I'm going to come back at the 3-minute mark. We're going to turn it around. and then we'll let it cool down and we'll do the reveal together. All right, guys, we're at the 3-minute mark. I'm going to turn her around, put my heat glove on so I don't burn myself. And we're going to go for another 3 minutes, and I'll be back. All right, guys, we're at our full 6 minutes. We're going to take it out. We're going to allow it to cool off here, and then we'll do the reveal together. You should be able to see the ink start to bleed through. You know, that'll let you know if you have a good sub. So we're going to let this cool down, and then we're going to, you know, take it apart and see what we got. All right, so be right back. All right, guys, we got our tumbler. You can see the ink started to bleed through, which is a good sign of your output. So it's still a little bit warm, but I think I can manage it. So we're going to take all of this paper and shrink wrap off and see what we got. And I know sometimes, guys, you want to use like your weeding tool and stuff like that to help you take this paper off quicker. Be careful with it, only because you don't want to scratch up your tumbler, you know, by putting that this sharp weeding tool on it. So I normally use it more so towards the inside than the outside. So we're going to get this tape and all this good stuff off. And I'm going to use my scissors to kind of cut that tape around the top. See if I can get it to move here. Remember, sublimation comes to life once the heat gets to it. Look at that so far. See that? This is going to be so pretty. And I haven't even finished unraveling it. Oh, yeah. Yep. So I showed you in Microsoft PowerPoint some of the designing, just so that you guys can get in the habit of those that don't really design and you rather go and pay someone for a design, how you can, you know, start just doing little things, guys. You know, I showed you how to kind of soften the edges on the image so that it doesn't look just like a square box on your tumbler or your shirts or what have you. And utilizing that crop to shape, that's another nice one. But it's so much that you can do if you have access to Microsoft PowerPoint. No, but if you have other means, then by all, you know, use that. But if you have Microsoft PowerPoint, you may as well use it. Oh, it's so pretty, guys. And we don't have any ghosting. Look at that. Look how pretty it turned out. And the good thing about this is we have an image on the front, and then we got that image on the back with the saying, without just having, you know, and, you know, we did pretty good on that seam there. So turned out beautiful. So remember I told you this tumbler was expensive. It was expensive. It was $40 for this tumbler. And that's because it comes with a Bluetooth speaker. So you put that Bluetooth speaker on the bottom, and now you have Sublimation tumbler with the Bluetooth. That's my phone because I have it connected to my phone. Hold on one second. Let me grab my phone. All right, guys, I'm going to go to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to play the opening from my YouTube channel because I don't want to have anybody mess with my money. My monetization on YouTube by claiming royalties because I'm using their music. So I'm going to go to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to play the opening to my YouTube channel.
Let's talk about easy, like fee-free easy, and no minimum easy. Plus, it earns interest.
Okay. So it's coming out of the Bluetooth. Okay, hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So it is a Bluetooth tumbler. That's why I truly did not want to mess this tumbler up, and I wanted it to be a little bit different. So that's why I designed my own, using my own images from Creative Fabrica. And instead of just placing the images on the tumbler, gave it a little bit of color, as you can see here. And I'm in love, I'm in love. I know it has a little bit of glare on it, guys, but the colors are truly popping. So that is why people love sublimation, guys, is because the colors really come to life once you put that heat on it, okay? So a couple of things to, I got to put my little tumbler down here so y'all can see it. So a couple of things. You're going to need shrink wrap. You're going to need heat tape, heat gloves. I highly recommend. I'm using A-Sub paper and A-Sub ink. I used the 8.5 by 11. My settings were, for my image, was 7.3 by 9.7. Now, if you're using a non-Bluetooth tumbler, your settings will be different, okay? Because you're going to sub all the way down. I actually, took my Bluetooth off so that I did not, mess up my Bluetooth. And I know I don't have to say that. I know you guys are going to know to do that. But this tumbler was $40. $40. Now, Amazon has some online that are like 36, but they're the tapered ones, and I already struggle with the straight on. So I got this one also. I also got this one at Join Us here in Dallas, Texas. Now, I'm being told that there are some things that they won't let you purchase online from Join Us, and I didn't know that because I never order online from them because I'm local. But that's where I got this tumbler from. It comes with either you can get the white Bluetooth speaker or the black. The ones on Amazon, I think they had white and silver. Okay. But do be careful with the ones if you decide to order one from Amazon. Guys, this thing is amazing when it's playing the music through here. I wish I could play the real music on here for you. But be careful with the ones on Amazon because they have some that are not white, but they are under the heading of sublimation. But if you read the fine print, you cannot sub on them. Okay. Only the white ones that they have are sublimatable. The other colors you cannot sub. Okay. So I'm proud of myself. I went into Microsoft, I went into Creative Fabrica. I generated these images. And then went into Microsoft PowerPoint, added color from my image so that it would blend in, soften up the edges so that it doesn't look like just a regular square, on here. And then you saw how we just added some text in there. Okay. Wouldn't that make a nice Christmas present? I think so. But this is my Christmas present because I'm keeping this. And so I think I gave you all of the supplies: heat tape, heat gloves, sublimation paper, sublimation ink. I'm using A-Sub. I'm using my Epson Workforce 7720 that I changed over from inkjet to sublimation. They are discontinued, so if you find them, they're probably going to be very, very expensive. And I use my Hamilton Beach convection oven, which is the large format size one. I bought it at Walmart over a year ago, and they no longer have that model number. I tried to find the model number so I could at least link it in my tutorials, but I can't even find it. So only thing I can tell you is try to get the most up-to-date Hamilton Beach wide format. That means that you can put or not wide, but large. You can put multiple tumblers in there at once, okay? And you can stand them up instead of having to lay them down, or you can only get one in there, but make sure it says convection oven. Once you sublimate in that convection oven, you cannot eat. It's no longer used for eating purposes, okay? Because of the gases and all that good stuff. And you just need a really good image. Make sure that you got that paper really, really close to the tumbler. And you'll be good. You will be Gucci. I'm telling you, you can feel the air pockets. So if your images are not coming out crisp like that, it's because you have ghosting on your tumbler. It has nothing to do with your printer. It's all about that ghosting. Okay. And that's why I said it was so crucial that I did not get any ghosting on here, because this tumbler cost me $40. Okay. So homie, don't play that. Okay. All right, guys. 350 for 6 minutes. At the 3-minute mark, turn that baby around. Okay. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all. I wanted to answer all questions when it comes to sublimating using your convection oven. I can't answer any questions about a mug press. Don't have one. I'm not going to buy one. My convection oven works just fine, and I can do mugs in there as well. Okay. So yeah, not going to be buying one. Now you can ask people in my Facebook group about the mug press, because multiple people in my group have the mug press, but I don't, and I'm not going to buy it. Okay. All right, guys. Next coming up is the DTF hack with sublimation on a 100% cotton t-shirt. Okay. So stay tuned, and don't forget, I got that giveaway coming up on my YouTube channel. All right. Don't you want that money, honey? All right, guys, if you're currently subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you guys so much for subscribing. I appreciate all 10,000 plus of you. And if you like my method of teaching, then please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will have my Facebook group linked in the description, as well as my Creative Fabrica page, if you would like to go ahead and check out some of the digital art I have generated on Creative Fabrica. You do have the ability to download any of the images that you find on there. Even these images that I used here today, and I have over 6,000 images that I have on my Creative Fabrica Spark page. So please check that out. Again, I'll link it in the description. And my Facebook group is Candoris' Cricut and Creative Crafters. We're small but mighty. Okay. All right, guys, that's my story. That is it. And that is all. And you know, my motto is each one reach one so that each one can teach one. Hey, and keep on Bluetoothing. Bye, y'all.